And finally this week, any other events of note? Any trends emerging or stuff-ups we didn't really hear about?
Look, I think that certainly the Joe Biden gaffes have been thick and fast, and you'll see them all over the place if you look on the web. Certainly I think we're really in an interesting time here where the so-called mainstream media is really, in the United States, abdicating its responsibility, abdicating its position as honest broker here, and I think ultimately they're going to wind up doing themselves and their candidate a lot more harm than good, because the American people, I think, are very suspicious of being told what to do, especially by people who. To go back to the sort of elite sort of thing that we've talked about before, that's been kind of a running theme here. I think Americans look at elites, in the same way that they look at Wile E. Coyote, super genius from the cartoons, and he's a smart guy who always, ends up with all these complicated schemes blowing up in their face. Much of this banking bailout thing that we're dealing with now is because, again, the smartest guys in the room built this incredibly complicated system which blew up in their face. And we're all going off the cliff, like the coyote will, along with them as a result. There's a suspicion, and I think a legitimate one, of technocratic, scientific, we're here from Harvard, we're here to help, leave it to the smart guys kind of attitudes. And, when the New York Times and everybody comes out with that attitude, they only wind up helping their opponents because of this, I think, deep skepticism. I think that's one thing to note. The other thing that I would really note about this campaign, we've said it before, the news cycle here is just ridiculously fast, and things are happening so quickly. Every week, every day, something new is happening. So everybody who's saying that, this is a big economic crisis, it's a big blow-up, it's going to redound completely on the Republicans, Obama is going to win with a landslide now as a result, it's still, we've got 38 days, a lot can happen, and if there's some sort of plan that stabilizes the markets, keeps banks from blowing up all over the country, people are going to start looking at other things. There could still be a foreign policy crisis in the next 3 or 4 weeks, which would go, again, to John McCain. Any number of different things, any number of hypotheticals can happen here, and it's just, I suspect that we are going to see, really up until the last days, unless, one candidate can really hammer home their appeal to the American people, and that would have to be Barack Obama who would have to do that, because he's really more the unknown at this point. And he'd have to have
sloganeering just won't do it.
And sloganeering won't do it. He needs to have a strong, serious, grown-up performance in the debate. If that doesn't happen, we're going to see, this race, the lead traded off between these two horses, running straight through to the finish line, really right up to Election Day, and I think it's going to be very, very close. It's going to be a real down-to-the-wire election.
So too early for predictions from your quarter, at least?
Mate, I think only a fool would make a prediction about this election.
Yep. All right, well, thanks for joining CABPOLL, James.
Thank you, Adrian. Always a pleasure.
Cheers.